Good evening, Warriors! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. I hope you guys are doing great this evening. I'm trying to do one before I wrap it up for the evening and get up early tomorrow. Get up and walk the big dogs and go on the day and great conquests all day long. So, hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for all the things you guys are doing. I see that we're getting a lot of information. People are sending information. People are kind of giving their opinions. This is all wonderful. The longer we have these discussions, Warriors, the better, and the more people get involved, and that's all very good. So a quick shout outs here. We get to our 1 minute mark. I do a couple, and let me do a couple. Maybe I'll start at 2 minutes on this one. Let's see, Jon Bishop. John, ego versus God. I like this thought, my friend. The ego is part of I think too much ego is obviously part of the devil. Ego is something that back with Sigmund Freud kind of talked about, all these people talked about. I think that's more of the side of the evil one than it is the side of the good. And there's always that competition between ego and God. And obviously we don't want the ego to win out. That's why we get into temptation and all the problems we get. Giovanni, thank you, my friend. As usual, peaceful being, trial walker, Optical Man, 13 months. Congratulations, Optical Man. Keep it up, my friend. Great to hear. Antonio, digital validity. Greg, all your great comments from the last video. Thank you, my friend. Bob Cool. And Giovanni again. And Marco Lopez. So, thank you, my friends. I appreciate all your comments. And we'll continue kind of doing those as we go along. All right, topic at 2 minutes here. We are talking about health and semen retention. So I go from a bunch of different comments here. Cancer and SR, one of the things they were asking about when it comes to Xoliswo Zoko. And then food and SR, I'm going to bring that into a little bit of that. Vladimir had a question about that one. We also had another comment here from, I'm trying to think of who else I got here. Let's see. Health, knowledge, Berakah. Thank you, Knowledge Berakah. Appreciate that. And then I think I had one more that I was kind of go back to a little bit here. And that was what happened. Oh, just another guy. What happens if you release? It's the end of the world. Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. So really, when we talk about this, Warriors, the key thing to remember, and the key thing is your energy level. The key thing is to continue to battle on and continue to realize that you have a precious commodity. We talk about this when it comes to the forbidden fruit. We talk about this with women's attractions. We're talking about this with achievings of goals. You have that lifeblood. I love that analogy someone gave. I think I'll do one on this later. And that's Captain America. The serum, right? The actual super soldier serum. You have that. So why in the world would you release that and give up that opportunity? Why you're releasing it is because you're tempted. You're tempted by that, all those temptations, all those fruits, those apples up there, like Eve. You're tempted by that, and you can't control yourself enough to say the long term, it's more important not to do this. And we talk about celibacy, we talk about brahmacharya, Sufism, we're talking about Taoism. All these things have a similar type connection with the fact that you should not be releasing. Now, what happens when you release? Well, it's not the end of the world. So, just another guy, we're talking about this. As long as you have the lifestyle and you understand the lifestyle. Now I think I'm at 1,015 days or something like that. And it took me 47 years, I think it was, to actually get to the point where I can have a long streak. So I've been through a lot of situations. And so this is why I kind of talk on this channel about all the experiences I've had. Because I'm 61, we're moving towards 62. And I feel tremendous now, but I didn't always feel tremendous. And so we talk about things like brings up cancer. We talk about health benefits. We're talking about relapsing. I believe that I was in my worst condition when I was releasing all the time, right? And I think there's lots of reasons for that. If you think logically, If you're just throwing away your nutrients, if you're throwing away your seed, if you're throwing away all those things you have in there, your body is going to be weaker. And your body is going to be more receptive to stress. And we know what stress does. That creates a lot of physical illnesses. And so is it possible to get cancer? You know, if you're releasing all the time, it probably is just like anything else. It's very positive, you know, that you could do that. Very probable. And it's probably because of more of the case of your body wearing down and your body's resistance is different. I think certainly this is very, very true. I mean, I have not been sick to the point where I'm missing work or anything. Yeah, I've had some sniffles at times and a cough once in a while. But I have not missed a day at work probably for almost 20 years now. So we're at a point where it was really something that is very noticeable in my life over the last, 20-some, almost 25, 30 years since I started this back in 1998 or something like that. How many years is that? About 24, 25 years, something like that. It's very noticeable to me, the change in my health. And doing those exercises, the Kendler Fountain of Youth exercises that I always talk about, and I've done some videos on that. You can probably go back and look at those. And I probably should do another one when I get a chance and actually kind of get doing some during the daytime. I could probably do one, and when I get, pretty soon we're going to have some breaks coming up, and so I should be able to maybe do one, a physical one actually, and kind of show you some of the exercises. But the idea, guys, is that you want to stay as much energy filled as you can. And this upsets the whole cycle of people getting upset, even death, when you're talking about this. Because what you're talking about is creating an energy cycle. Your chakras are continue to move. Your chakras are giving you energy. That energy is fighting all those kind of diseases and things that could be around you. And so you have a built-in really immune system. And we saw this during the last couple of years, right? You know, some people didn't need to have all this type of medicine and things that they were talking about, okay? And I, for one, did not do any of that kind of stuff. And did I have problems? No. I haven't had problems. Because there's an immune system in my mind that you have with retention. And I don't believe in putting stuff in my body unless it's something that I know what's going in there. And so, when we talk about health, we're talking about you building yourself up. This is why it's so important to realize and retain. Because you're talking about being able to have the right type of health balance. Now, food plays a big part, and I think it was Vladimir asked this question. Going back to Zoko here. Yeah, I believe that there probably is a strong relationship with cancer and releasing, only because people's body level is different, energy is different. And people are more susceptible to get a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of that comes then to lead to other types of diseases. So it's very possible. I don't know that for sure. Obviously, I don't have medical knowledge of that, but that's something that's very possible. When it comes to food, Vladimir had a good question. We're talking about food. Food makes a big difference. The things you put in your body are very crucial. A lot of water is important. I have a big jug of water that I use all the time. Water is crucial. Having the right kind of, I stay away from the carbohydrates, too much carbs. I've had a problem. I try to stay away from as much sugar. I still have that problem. You know, I had issues with my teeth years ago because of a lot of that kind of stuff. So you're trying to have a balanced meal. Now, I also fast. So I do fasting from 8 o'clock at night to 12 o'clock during the day. So try to do a good hour, try to do maybe a 16-hour fast. And do that every so often. And that's important to kind of clear your system out. Those things are important. But food is very crucial. So once again, your health is important. So we talk about health, we talk about food, and semen retention. All those things are crucial. And I've done separate ones on food as well. Types of food that can certainly help you. I think certainly you want to kind of keep the flow of energy going. It's almost like you're a Ferrari and a car, and you're trying to keep that engine purring. You don't want to put things that are going to block it up, like a lot of carbohydrates and things like that. In fact, one of the worst things to do, when you go back to Kendler's book, he has a whole chapter on food, by the way, which I think is wonderful as well. One of the things he talks about is do not mix proteins, different types of food. So, for example, in the Western world, we have hamburgers, bread on top of meat. He says that's terrible. Mixing the proteins with the carbs and starches and things like that is a terrible mix in your stomach. And I know at times I felt like when I had one of those big Wendy's or McDonald's type of things, that was not good for me. And so I've kind of stayed more away from those things as time goes on. But food is a very important type of thing to look at. And so as you look at your health, you look at things like, I just had a discussion. My son took his first cold shower, which was great. And he was amazed on the effect it has. Now, he's taken a warm to cold shower. I just go in, my friends, at 5 in the morning and I blast it. I'm so happy to get in that thing. Now, I tell you what, but that instant before you get into that cold shower, that's a tough one. But then I push yourself into it, it gives you a chance to kind of move into the day, blasting and blazing and trying to conquest anything you can. So going back then to, we talked about health a little bit. I think certainly health is very wrapped up in a semen retention. And I also think then the other thing we talk about when it comes to releasing, do not panic, guys, if you release. Do not panic at all. Warriors, you have to realize this is a battle. It took me 40 some years, as I said, to actually get to the point where I can actually have some level of control. And I'm 61, so a lot of you guys are younger. This is one of the reasons I pass this information on, that can help a few people. I know getting from the things I'm getting from you guys, that the information, the messages, that it is helping a few people out, and I feel very grateful for that. I feel blessed that we can actually do this and continue doing this. And like I said, that's my main goal. And I know content and quality is not the best. Certainly, I could put together a big type of production, but I don't want to do that. I want to just kind of talk and have a normal conversation and share information and hear from you guys. All the topics we've talked about over the last year and almost a year and a half now are really topics you guys came up with. I have a whole long list of things based on topics you guys have talked about. And the releasing part is an issue. If you release, just take a step back, realize why you released, and get rid of that situation and try again. I think the Lord recognizes the fact that you're trying. And I think that's going to help you eventually figure out the way to do this. It's a strong power. This power to procreate is important. But remember, you don't need to release. You don't need to release. As we talked about, a few people mentioned, you can have intercourse without releasing. Not an easy thing to do, of course, but something you could do. But again, the issue is, as we go into this whole thing, is that if you're having intercourse, as you have intercourse, once again, you're kind of on that temptation line. And so as we talk about in the other video, yes, of course you can have intercourse. But unless it's with your wife or somebody that God has blessed in a relationship and to your God, I would say I would avoid this. I would avoid having those type of situations, because until you're strong enough, and even then, I'm not sure what the purpose is. So guys, as you think about this, it's about the purpose. What is the purpose of having sex? Unless you're going to procreate. And again, you don't want to lose that energy, because it affects you from a health standpoint to the point where it drains you. It drains you so much that now you're susceptible to anything around you. Look at all the people that you see who are sick all the time. Look at all the people who they're missing all kinds of work. Now, part of that stress level, but again, I will tell you, one of the benefits of retention and to do this is that you're focusing more on goals and you have less anxiety. My anxiety level is so low right now, even though a lot of crazy things happening around us. And in my life, I have, like, my place is like Grand Central Station. I got dogs, family members running around, everything's going on, right? And I'm trying to kind of be that warrior, ahead of the warrior of the family. So it's not an easy thing, of course. And you're working, I'm working 60 hours a week every week. I love what I'm doing, so part of that is that's enjoyable. But the stress level is, because of retention, is not the same. And I think as you guys see this more, you'll realize that too. So, all right. So again, great topic. I enjoy talking about this one. We're talking about health, food, and semen retention. And hope you guys got something out of this. Once again, thank you to all the people on the shout-outs, plus thank you guys for contributions. Xoliswo Zoko, thank you. It starts with an X, so I may be probably announcing wrong, so I apologize if I am. Vladimir, thank you for yours on food and SR. I appreciate that as well. We also had Knowledge, Berakah. Thank you for your question on health and SR. I try to combine these together so that we can talk about these together. And then I think the other one I was going to talk about too is just, what was the last thing that we talked about, the other one? So it was talking about relapsing. So I appreciate all the comments, guys, that you guys are giving. And again, thank you guys for your comments, and I appreciate that too. So before I leave you guys, have a great evening. I hope you guys continue to conquest and do well. Remember, 2 things. 1, every day is a new day, and that means every day you start again with this idea of battling and battling and battling. And then secondly, of course, my friends, never give up and continue to, you know what it is, my friends, continue to battle on!